Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today I'm talking about what you can write off as a delivery driver on your taxes, because taxes are very important. If you don't know what you're doing and you just kind of fill out your own taxes, you're going to end up paying a lot more in taxes, and that's kind of just like wasting money. The quickest dollar to make is the dollar that you save. So let's try to write off as much taxes as you possibly can. I highly recommend having a professional tax person do your taxes every single year, because they know so much more about taxes. They're going to make it look legit. If you try to do it on your own, you might get audited. It's not going to turn out very well. Getting audited sucks. I've had to go through it before. So let's just try to, ideally, you want to have someone else do your taxes. I just would recommend it so much, because for one, you're going to learn a ton about how taxes work, and you can do it for the next year. And like when I'm doing my taxes, I'm thinking about my taxes all year round. When I make like a large amount of money, I try to invest a portion of that I can write off right away. That way throughout the year I don't get stuck with a big tax bill at the end of the year. Personally, I haven't paid anything on taxes in the last 3 years because of the businesses I've started. I've been able to write off enough to where I don't have to pay anything in taxes. And when you're not paying anything in taxes, you're saving a lot of money, because the people who are working like W-2 jobs as actual employees are spending a good chunk of their change on taxes. You'll notice like 30 to 40% of your paycheck just disappears right away. But not if you're an independent contractor and when you're getting paid through a 1099, such as if you're a Doordash driver, Postmates, Ubereats, Uber, Lyft, any of these like jobs that go by per job rather than as an actual employee. If you're an independent contractor, you can write off all these things, and it's super important. So I wrote down a list of things that we're going to want to write off. Now, the first one that is most important is your mileage, because you are writing off, or you're going to drive so many miles as a delivery driver. Basically, your mileage alone can pretty much eliminate all the taxes that you need to pay that year. But if it doesn't, then we're going to move on to the next one. But first, I personally drive about 30,000 miles a year, and I write off 25,000 of that for business. That's not lying at all. There's no lie in that at all. I literally drive 25,000 miles a year for business, whether it's doing DoorDash driving, whether it's on a trip for my business, or whether it's going to training or something like that for training acrobatics, go to the gym. I have all these different businesses that I can write off all these multiple kind of things. So the second thing is parking and tolls. If you have to pay any parking tickets, I highly, before we get even any further, I highly suggest paying for anything that's business related with your debit card. Because if you can pay with your debit card, you can look through at the end of the year and you can see all the things that you paid for, and you can kind of keep them, like you can even like get a secondary debit card for all your business expenses. I don't personally do that, but I just go through and I see all of my debit card transactions throughout the entire year. That way I know, oh, I paid for parking this day. Oh, I paid for gas that day or something like that. And all these things are in your debit card. It's very important that you don't do credit card transactions, because most credit cards don't keep your transactions for more than a year, and sometimes you have to pay taxes over a year later, and you need at least a year of your transactions to just be reminded of it. So just keep that in mind. Using your debit card is probably the way to go. Personally, that's what I've been doing for years, and I've not had any problems with it. So parking and tolls, if you get any parking tickets or tolls or any of that stuff, write it off. You don't really have to keep the receipt, just kind of pay with your debit card, and you can see later in the year, oh, I had to pay for a toll this day. Your mobile phone, of course, because you're basically relying on your phone to basically have the job completely. Like if without your phone, you can't do the job. So that's a huge write-off. Phone payments can be anywhere from like $50 to $100 a month, maybe even more depending on what kind of phone you have. So that's a good thing to write off. It can be up to like $1,000 a year. Again, that's a huge transaction that can really write off most of your taxes. Any kind of supplies can vary. Like I can probably write off this coffee mug or something. In fact, I would suggest you probably can write off like for one, you can write off like your Spotify membership, YouTube membership. I write these things off every single year because this is entertainment for me to sit in my car and actually, I don't know, just be entertained. Like these are the kind of things that you can write off as entertainment, because you have to sit in your car, so you need to be entertained. You don't have to be entertained, but they do allow you to write these things off, and I've been doing it for years. Any roadside assistance. So if you have AAA or any of these kind of things, AAA can be like $100 a year or something like that. You can write it off because you need it to, just in case, you know. So that's another write-off. Another thing is commissions and fees. So if you're getting like, I'm gonna skip that one actually, commissions and fees, because that kind of ties into like any parking tolls and any of that, like any kind of fee that you get. Like for example, if you, okay, here's one thing though. If you're doing like the fast, what do you call it? Fast pay from like Doordash or Ubereats or something like that, you can write off that $1.50 or whatever they charge you. That's a part of your taxes that you can write off. It's kind of hard to keep track of that because they don't give you a separate transaction for it. Bikes and accessories. So if you have a bike or any kind of accessories like a basket or any of that stuff that you need to pay for, you can write that off. Hot bags. If you pay for your hot bags, I personally have never paid for a hot bag, but you can write that off. Any car inspections, if you need to get your car, like let's say your oil change or any of that kind of stuff, that's another write-off. Another one is your health insurance. You can write that one off. And I believe that is all that I got. But see, you notice there's so many things that you can write off, and to be honest, I feel like, also the biggest one of all, your car. You have to write off your car. Like for example, I paid $35,000 for this car. I can write off $35,000, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write it off over a 3-year period. So I'm not gonna just write it all off on 1 year, because obviously that would clear out my tax. I won't have to pay any taxes that year, but the next 2 years I'll be screwed. I personally am not gonna have to pay, like if I didn't write anything off, I think I'd probably have to pay around like $20,000 in taxes. So just writing off $10,000 of this covers half of my taxes right there. So I don't even have to pay for any of the taxes for the next couple of years just because of this vehicle. So just any of your bigger investments like your car. Car is huge. This is why you want to go to a professional CPU, because they're going to be able to write down all this stuff, and they're going to make sure that you've checked off all these things on the list. So again, I highly recommend going to a CPU, and I will actually link down my CPU down below. You can go to them. Their name is William, or his name is William. He does my taxes every single year. My taxes are super confusing because I have 3 different businesses. I'm a delivery driver, and I have just tons of random stuff that I'm always writing off. So my taxes are very confusing. But I'm going to link my tax guy down below. I forget what their actual business name is called, but William is my tax guy. Definitely go to him for your taxes. And that's all I got for you guys today. Just make sure that you try to write off as much as you can, because the fastest dollar you make is the dollar you save. I've always taken that as a motto in my life. So anyways, I hope this helped you guys out a little bit, because a lot of people are confused by taxes and how they work. And also I'll link down below my podcast with my tax guy, because it's very informational if you want to learn about how taxes work. Personally, I kind of nerd out about this stuff because I love learning how to make more money and how to save money, and like things that you can invest in throughout the year, because money is kind of like a game, you know. It's kind of like we're playing a real life Monopoly, and it can be fun or it can totally suck if you absolutely have no idea how it works. Like you see professional athletes go broke all the time because they have no idea how taxes work. They get $1 million paycheck, but they spend $1 million. Don't even realize later that they didn't spend any money, or they didn't invest any money, so they're gonna have to pay all those taxes. Happens to people all the time. So it's just better to understand how taxes work. It really is, because it's not that hard. Just watching a few videos. Hopefully this video helped you out a little bit. There's other informational videos all over the internet. Anyways, thank you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video at all, please give the video a nice big like. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I'm giving out videos and giving out information in all of my videos, trying to give out as much free information as I possibly can to all of you guys who enjoy watching these videos. So again, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you guys have not, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.